speaking to you with audio channels only, so that you will not involuntarily expel digestive fluids. Althaar has made many adaptations such as these in his project of learning all there is to learn about humans and your culture. You may have heard of Althaar's struggles in the audio series Life with Althaar that is currently streaming for entertainment on Earth. Althaar was at first thinking that this title is not perhaps of the greatest accuracy, because for Althaar it is the story of his wonderful life with humans. But Althaar supposes that many human programs could be called Life with Humans, and this could be causing much confusion, so it is best to have specificity. Althaar is wishing to speak to his human friends now for a very special occasion. There is often music on the fairgrounds and in this audio series, and now Althaar's CollisionWorks friends are presenting some of it to you, their 21st century Earth audience, in what they are calling Althaar's very special first season musical EP. But before it is beginning, Althaar would like to assure you that Althaar will not himself be performing. The effects of Iltorian song on the human psyche have been tragically well documented, and Althaar is desiring only the most robust of mental and physical health for his human friends. So, on to the musics! Every episode of Life with the Many Friends of Althaar is beginning with a scene that is setting up the premise, and then there follows a theme song. Sometimes the theme song is coming after 1 minute, and sometimes it is after 20 minutes. Apparently the premise is a thing that varies wildly in size, but Althaar cannot be speaking to this as the creative writings have not made up a large part of his studies. So now, please be enjoying the main title theme song. Very short, but it is long enough to be accompanying the title of the episode, which is its purpose, so Althaar is thinking it is the perfect length. There is another version at the end of the EP, which is longer to accommodate the ending credits. But now there is a song with singing from two of Althaar's dear friends on the fairgrounds. Delilah Mallory is a human who is usually called Dee, and who has a very lovely voice, and is also sometimes playing the earth guitar. And Xtopps is a zibidant, which means he can be playing all of the instruments at once and singing the backup also. Please be enjoying their most unique rendition of an old Jovian standard, Danube Planum.
I feel so bad, won't be leaving soon, so I'll sing my lonesome tune about a mesa on Jupiter's moon, Danube Planum. Earning credits, drinking brine, slaving in a helium mine, till I pay off this Jovian fine, Danube Planum. Oh, return some
the very first song that Xtopps and Dee were playing together at the Electric Egg, where they have been Althaar's favorite band ever since. Although it is a truth that Althaar is not getting out to see the live musical entertainments very often, because he must use such caution in avoiding the sight of humans. But still, Althaar believes they are very talented indeed, and he is not the only one who is saying so. This was obvious from the first time Xtopps was playing at the Electric Egg, when he was making Audition at the open call of Chip Frinkle. And now you will be hearing that audition. It is Xtopps' own instrumental arrangement of a famous Earth tune by the composer Rimsky-Korsakov, and it is known by the title Surfin Bee. That song makes Althaar's flexitors wriggle with delight. The next song also causes much delight for some beings, although Althaar is not getting a great deal of it. Still, he is informed that it is a fine example of a traditional human space shanty, as is often sung by the crews of helium freighters, who all have the most lovely deep voices. It is Althaar's understanding that the freighter crews have gained this habit of speaking to compensate for the small helium leaks that plague their ships, which would otherwise make their communication most comical and squeaky. Most of these shanties are very, very long and describe a parade of explicit sexual practices that no human has yet been willing to explain to Althaar. In some versions, including the one that was sung at the Electric Egg on Open Mic Night, this shanty can contain over 200 verses. Althaar regrets, however, that to share many of these verses with you would violate sections 86C through 103M of the ICSB Interstellar Cohabitation Code, not to mention many local Earth rules and regulations. So, Althaar will share with you now the first two verses and chorus only of Around the Rings of Saturn.
Around the rings of Saturn there lived a gaseous slattern, whose dorsal vent would leave you bent into a pleasing pattern. The first name's name was Rossiter, her family tried to closet her, but she'd get caught in every port sucking an ovipositor. Round the rings of Saturn, round the rings of Saturn, round the rings of Saturn, and up Uranus way.
Yes, Althaar believes that is enough of that song. The helium freighter crew is very generous with their time and talents, but a little of their space shanties goes a very long way for most beings. But now, here is another song performed by Dee and Xtopps of the kind that is very popular, a duet. It has been described to Althaar as romantic, but this seems unlikely, as the lyrics are concerning a situation fraught with danger. This song is called Baby, It's a Vacuum Out There.
It's time I should
It's
leave.
a vacuum out there.
Getting harder to breathe.
It's a vacuum out there.
The orbital
Will I see you
window's
again?
closing soon.
Or you could slingshot round that
My oxygen's getting closer. And this is just a short-range cruiser. I really do have to go, sir. But there is a CO2 remover. The laws of physics are clear,
just fine.
to which we must adhere.
Ecliptic line.
Our species can't
Not really all
make
that
in zero G.
We can float, leave that to me.
I've taken the time to
They're
examine
out there,
all of my equipment twice. It's time I should leave, but it's a vacuum outside. I should cast off soon.
Vacuum out
We
there.
passed the
But it's
Appaloo.
a vacuum out there.
It's time for
You end up
escape.
quite a scrape in a
Velocity.
zero lift trajectory.
I haven't been home for
Just before the
ages.
blinking
My heartmate
danger.
will be looking
Just
grim.
our orbital
My
trim.
clothes will be on the same
We get to hit all
pages.
the old
If I were to
stages.
stay on a
My
wing,
signal's starting to dim.
gotta get
I
back.
think you should wait, my dear.
My shuttle is
You're sure
packed.
to I'm late, my dear.
Just open those
Your
pod
application could be
bay doors
flawed.
for me.
We're almost at us is a G.
I know how the boosters are burning.
Might surely be
Gonna be
learning.
quite a bit stressed. It's time I should leave, but it's a vacuum out there.
Oh, Althaar hopes that the characters in that song will make it safely back to an atmosphere that contains adequate amounts of whatever gases they require for respiration. This is why these space hats with air are so important. But they sound like they are happy. And as Althaar is speaking of happiness, Althaar has successfully committed a link or segue. Althaar has read much advice on the role of the MC. He is very pleased to be implementing it. Speaking of happiness, Althaar was hearing many happy songs when Althaar was celebrating his first Christmas with the humans of the fairgrounds and his other friends. Most of them are heard at the Christmas party of Althaar and friend John, but there is one that is heard even more briefly elsewhere. It is not sung to commemorate the Christmas or any other human holiday, but it is rather a Qo'rqish lament. However, friend John's supervisor, Mr. Fornes, has explained that the tune is derived from a very famous Earth Christmas song, so it is a particular favorite of Althaar, as it is a delightful example of interstellar cultural exchange. It is sometimes called the 38 Days of Qo'rqish, but much like the space shanty, there are many more than 38 verses in the full version. It seems that the people of Rupelach-Yaska are always finding new native hazards that are attempting to devour, dismember, or incinerate them. But to keep this recording as an EP and not an LP, Althaar is presenting only the first 38 Days of Qo'rqish.
On the 38th day of Qo'rqish, my broodmate gave to me 38 dark hands blinding, 37 fenlings shrieking, 36 hatchets chopping, 35 wendlings dancing, 34 fleet mice sapling, 33 swampworts scalding, 32 reapers scything, 31 kittens purring, 30 headsmen clubbing, 29 lampers lurking, 28 snips a scorching, 27 fields of foaming, 26 crabs a cracking, 25 zeebs a spawning, 24 jillies jiving, 23 duckracks gunning, 22 skull fruits dropping, 21 jackals thieving, 22 renders
rending, 19 bloodwoods howling, 18 dread wraiths hunting, 17 changelings wailing, 16 dust bears mauling, 15 windlings piercing, 14 mudholes chomping, 13 bogs a sucking, 12 brass hats whipping, 11 vines a choking, 10 wasps a buzzing, 9 salt bats swooping, 8 webs a spinning, 7 wargs a chasing, 6 boils a seeping, 5 long stripes stings, 4 severed limbs, 3 bared claws, 2 rending fangs, and an egg laid in my chest cavity.
Althaar likes the tune of that song very much, although Althaar is of course very sad for the many victims of the planet Rupelach Raska that are lamented within it, and he wishes the surviving inhabitants the best of good fortune in their quest to demand an apology from their ancestors for settling there. On another of Althaar's hands, however, there is the planet of Uranus, the mere mention of which causes many humans great amusement. It has been explained to Althaar that this is because the name of the planet sounds like one is referring to the human excretory orifice, but Althaar does not yet grasp why this should be cause for hilarity. Perhaps you were noticing that it is mentioned also in the chorus of the space shanty. And it is in the title of a much requested song at the Electric Egg, the human classic Beyond Uranus, which is commonly demanded with the inclusion of a solo to be played on the Fleesborp. Miss Mallory has explained that these requests are also jokings meant to cause annoyance to musicians, but Althaar is not understanding this at all. Why should one wish to annoy the very performers whose musics one has chosen to be hearing? There is still much in the behavior of his fellow sapients that is a puzzle to Althaar, but he will be solving it one day. Still, when Althaar finally heard Dee and Xtopps perform the song at the Christmas party, Althaar was even more confused by this joke because he found the song very beautiful indeed. And although Althaar has wished many times to hear it again, he is knowing better than to be making a request of it. But now there is happy solution! This recording can be listened to as many times as Althaar likes, with no danger of causing offense to hard-working musicians. So here for you and for Althaar is the classic human song, Beyond Uranus. That is almost all of the songs Althaar has to share with you from the first season of Life with Althaar and all of Althaar's friends on the fairgrounds who are all very clever and nice also. Althaar would like to thank Missouri Washington, Mr. Derek Peterson, Ms. Anna Stefanic, Miss Berit Johnson, Mr. Ian W. Hill, and the entire cast of Life with Althaar for their contributions to these recordings, and he also wishes to thank all of Althaar's 21st century human friends for enjoying these stories. If you are wishing to contact Althaar himself, Althaar can be found on Twitter at Althaar Tweeting. To make discussion with new humans is always filling Althaar with joy. And now there is one final song, the closing credits music, which is like the opening credits music, but longer. Usually, each episode is ending with this music, and then there follows a final scene that is called a tag or stinger. Althaar does not know why they are putting a scene there, as it is the experience of Althaar that many people are not listening to credits all the way through, but Althaar is a mere xenosociologist, and the principles of narrative structure are a mystery to him. Althaar will say that there are no taggings on this EP, so when this song is over, you can end your listening without fear that anything will be missing to you. Or you can be starting again from the beginning if you wish to share this musical journey with Althaar a second time. But whatever you are doing, Althaar is wishing you great happiness and thanking you for your company. Caricatures. And it is known by the title Surfin Bee. To do the last sentence again, would you shut up?